Hello VC, John with you, and we're going to do another edition of looking at my Hawaiian record collection. And today we start with the letter B, the artists that begin with the letter B. First up, South Seas Serenade by the Beachcombers. This is on Viking Records out of New Zealand. And instrumental group with a vocalist, and I have to say, this is from, 1963, I think, this record. The artists are two brothers and one of the brothers' wives, and they're looking very British Commonwealth, I think. Don't you think so? I don't know. They look, would automatically think they're sort of British Commonwealth people. And featuring the vocalist, Gary Wakefield. A little story about this record. When I was in either junior high or high school, I had like a million pen pals in Hawaii. I was living in South Carolina, and I had a lot of pen pals out here. And I asked one of them to send me some information about getting records, that I could get through the mail. And they just ripped a page out of the phone book for like record wholesalers and record distributors and whatever. And I wrote to some of them, and I heard back from a few, but I actually heard back from Sears, and they sent a little catalog of some things that you could actually order, and they would mail to you. And I sent off and ordered some records from Honolulu from Sears. This was one of the records that I got from them. So I've had this one for a very long time, and this is the original copy that I had. This lady we'll see popping up on several other record covers. I know I mentioned I'm going to have to do one time like a series of some of the models that are showing up all the time. Next artist is Keola Beamer. Now this is Jack DeMello presents Keola Beamer, Hawaiian slack key guitar in the real old style. Music of Polynesia is the label. This is from I don't know the exact date, but the 70s sometime, I think early or mid 70s. Keola Beamer comes from a very famous musical family here, the Beamers. Several generations, I won't get into it, but it's a very famous musical family. That was followed up by the two brothers together. Jack DeMello presents Keola and Kapono Beamer. This is our island home, we are her sons. And they're playing slack key guitar and singing also on this album. And they, in their own right, became quite popular as a result of these releases, and they've kind of just kept coming. Jack DeMello presents Keola and Kapono Beamer, Hawaii Then and Now. This was called, on the back, Volume 3. Again, these albums, I moved to Hawaii in 1981, and these earlier ones had already come out. Massively popular, getting lots of airplay. People loved their music, and it resonated very much with a lot of people here. Then they jumped labels. I don't know the story there, but this one was put out on Tantless labels. Keola and Kapono Beamer, Hawaii's Young Legends. There's Keola. Keola was kind of a pretty boy, but they didn't really capitalize on that too much. Now this here is this is the jackpot song, Honolulu City Lights. I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, like on the mainland, Silent Night, Jingle Bells, I don't know, something that you hear all the time, forever. This was such a huge hit for them. And it's a very pretty song. It's just about somebody leaving the island, again, and how they're sad to leave again, and they'll be back, but they sing this sort of sad song about seeing the Honolulu City Lights. It has been redone a few times, but not an awful lot, because I think a lot of the local artists don't want to touch it. You know what I mean? This is such a classic and such a standard. I think most of them don't want to attempt to do their own version of it. You will hear it on the radio, you'll hear it on the Muzak systems, if you're here long enough, you're going to hear Honolulu City Lights. In fact, we used to have like a Hawaii Top 40 pop chart that had Hawaiian artists and mainland artists, mixed together. This was the #1 song of the year. I can't remember the exact year, whether it was 81, something, 80, 81. Then they went on to a different label, Paradise Records, Paradise Productions. This is the Beamer Brothers' Island Night. That was a fairly popular song. Waimanalo Blues on that. Lovely Hula Hands, which they did a couple of times. I remember when they took this trip to Tahiti, Keola and Kapono Beamer went to Tahiti, performed with Gabby Lou, who's a well-known artist there, and then they did this album kind of in tribute of that trip to Tahiti. And it has Tahiti Holiday, Hawaii Song, an interesting medley of our song Ku'uipo Ikahepoeone, or Sweetheart of the Sand Dunes. In Bora Bora, they have the same song, same tune, but it has different words. And you find that sometimes in the Pacific Islands. I had a friend from East Timor, and I was playing some songs on the steel guitar for him, and he was like, oh, we have that song, but it's called blah, 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 and it has other lyrics. So there's a lot of exchanging with some of the popular songs in the Pacific Islands. You'll hear them different, the same tune with different lyrics, different words. Then the Beamers kind of went solo. Kapono Beamer, because his interest was a little bit more Volcano Records, that was a little bit more of a rock pop thing. So this is still Hawaiian. There's Hawaiian songs on it, but there's also some more kind of poppy rock influence kind of things. And he also did this one, which was, I don't really know the story behind this one, Silent Crossing. Oh, this one's called Escape to Paradise. I don't think I said that. This was recorded in Germany. It's called Silent Crossing, and it's instrumentals, slack key guitar, in a little more contemporary kind of style. Both of the Beamers, Keola and Kapono, continued to record separately through the CD era. They are still around, and they were putting out CDs, but we're not dealing with that. Next, we move on to, this is exactly the kind of record that back in the old days I would have hated. Just would have disgusted me, and now I love it to death. It's like 1977. This guy is originally from Chicago. He comes here, puts out a song on Homegrown, which was like a local talent search kind of record, a song called Makapu'u, and it took off. And it's kind of a little loungy, disco-y kind of thing. And then he put out this album, Bart, I know it's Bascone or Bascone, I don't remember how you say it, but Makapu'u, and then the whole album is disco. I mean, it's like super, super cheesy Hawaii disco guy, and I love it. Special Island, Hawaiian Boogie, Who is the Lolo Who Stole My Pakalolo? This album's great. And he did a follow-up one 2 years later in '79. This is kind of when people were doing like EPs, you know, the 12-inch singles, or whatever, like extended versions. This is a disco. It's Blue Hawaii disco. The song Blue Hawaii, the song My Hawaii with I Am Hawaii, Our Last Aloha, and Lucky Living in Hawaii. Bart Bascone, Disco Island. This is amazing stuff. Okay. And then we have the Banjo Barons. I think we'll end with this one. The Banjo Barons go Hawaiian. Now, they did a whole bunch of records of different things, and of course they had to do their Hawaiian one. This is a national release, 1963, on Columbia Records. And interesting story about this one. Now, this is the stupid things you do when you're young, right? When I originally got this record, I got it at a record store, and it had a different cover taped to the top of it, of just a photograph of a woman, the back of a woman on the beach. And then I learned, I was told, the reason that was there, it was actually just sort of taped on, that the record company had to make an alternative cover, because when they put this out in 1963, it actually got banned, or they got into trouble, because even though it's a cartoon drawing, you can see through her grass skirt. So I'm going to close up, and if you don't want to look away. But you can actually, you know, see through her grass skirt. And that was considered obscene, so they had to do another cover over it. But in my youth, I just threw it away. I didn't save it because I thought this is what you want, and I regret throwing it away. But yeah, it originally had a different cover. So we are going to stop there for today, and we're going to do a little needle dropping and hear a few samples. Kinapuliuna,
Each time Honolulu City stir up memories in me. Each time Honolulu City will bring me back again. Don't pick the flowers if you don't wear the lake. Don't plant the garden if you're not here to stay. Don't eat the guavas if you don't like the taste. You're loving in paradise.
I hope you enjoyed that little look into the collection today. We'll be continuing with the letter B next. If you like any of this music, please feel free to tune into my online hobby radio stations. Just a hobby. I don't make money from it. It's free to listen. It's called Hawaiian Hi-Fi on Live365.com. It features selections from this record collection 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I'll put the link in the description below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you have any of these records or any interest in them or experience or anything you want to share about them, I'd love to hear from you. So have a great week. We'll see you next time, and aloha.